Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Bavarian, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here to show you this 2008 BMW E90 M3 Sedan. So we were able to finally get one on the channel, and obviously this has replaced the 2006 E90 330. That was a great car, but I mean, come on. I mean, this is obviously the M version of that, the E90 M3. So of course, a lot of the E9X M3s you see are E92s, but this is the four-door. This is the E90. So it's a little bit more rare. So I just want to kind of just walk you around the car a little bit. You know, it's not perfect. Again, it's a 2008 with 112,000 miles on it, but honestly, I just can't believe that we were able to get this on the channel. So you can see that it's just the front end has just been sandblasted. So at some point, I'm going to get it over to my detail guy and have the front bumper totally resprayed and a PPF done. So there's a lot of imperfections on it. The previous owner of this vehicle kept it primarily stock, and he was not the one to put in the black gloss grills. I believe the owner before did that. You can see these are kind of fading a little bit. The markers on the side, it almost looks like somebody keyed the car right there. But these 19-inch wheels are in impeccable condition. They're in impeccable condition. Leads me to believe that maybe they were redone at some point. But I honestly, I just can't believe I was able to get this on the channel. I really just can't. You can see that the M3 badge looks pretty new, and that's just because we just put it on 2 days ago. So it is brand spanking new. I'm putting on a coat of wax on it every single day, like for the next 2 weeks, just to make sure that it's protected. Because obviously the old one got faded. That's very common on the E9X M3s for the M3 badges to get faded. You can see the license plate bracket too, which is pretty sweet. So this is the Jerez Black. And also, one thing I forgot to mention, when I bought the car, I said that the previous owner kept it primarily stock, but of course it did have the old ugly now CI E90 taillights on it, but we were able to put these on. They're Mars style. Actually, they're not officially from Mars. We bought these off of eBay, and they just look tremendously better. Honestly, it looks like it's LCI. I mean, obviously it's not the LCI shape. If you wanted to do the full LCI conversion, then you wouldn't have had to retrofit the trunk. And honestly, that's just too much work. For the E92 and 93, it's much simpler if you want to do the LCI conversion. But this is the LCI style taillights. So you don't have that huge white thing there. I mean, these are totally different taillights. On the E90 330 we actually got these little red strips that we actually put over the white part, but this is like a totally different taillight. So again, the turn signals are amber. We're going to have our detail guy wrap that in red to make it look OEM as possible. So unfortunately, it does have stock exhaust. I mean, I don't know. The previous owner said it had stock exhaust, but it's a pretty darn loud stock exhaust. We're in the process of trying to get a modded muffler from some guy. So hopefully we're going to be able to open up that sound a little bit to make it louder. I mean, the S65s, a lot of these motors, you know, they sound great, but in some of these motors, you just have to kind of open them up. You know, you have to make them louder. And that's how I feel about this car. So as I take you inside the car, it's just, the condition is just great, guys. The previous owner was nice enough to give us this windshield cover. Obviously came with the car when we bought it from him. Unfortunately, this is broken here. This is very common on the E9Xs. Just need to open up the door over here. It's really hot in here. I'll do a start towards the end of the video, and this is an F10 M5 illuminated shift knob. When we first bought the car, we thought maybe we would swap it out with an OEM one. You know, clearly, I mean, obviously I've talked about it on this channel before. I used to have a ZHP, so I'm pretty familiar with the ZHP shift knob. I love the ZHP shift knob, but I was just I'm just more of an OEM guy when it comes to shift knobs, but I love the F10 M5 to shift knob, and I know this is the F10 M5 shift knob because it illuminates at night. So obviously the ZHP shift knob did not illuminate at night, but the F10 one did, and the F10 one I think is a little bit fatter than the ZHP shift knob. So I love it, man. It feels so good. Most of the E90 M3s in 2008 were 6-speed manuals, because I believe the DCT didn't come out until April 2008. So this is a January 2008 production. So it has to be a manual. So I believe anything from, because the E92 M3 went in production in November 2007, the E90 M3 and the E93 M3 went in production in January 2008. So anything from that time frame up until April 2008, I believe it was around that time, got the manual transmission, right? So it was the standard transmission. And then when the DCT came out, I mean, very few DCT 08s. I'm not going to say it's like extremely rare, but it's definitely the least common year for a DCT. So I've discussed on here before about how I was just never really a big fan of the 2008 model E90 E9X M3s. And this is a big reason as to why. I mean, we already talked about the taillights, but as you can see, the iDrive, this does have comfort access. I'm just going to plug in the key here for a second, but this is why. It does have the CCC iDrive, and actually we already have sourced a CIC iDrive, which is the next gen from this, off of a total 2010 E90 M3. I don't know why it's not loading yet. Yeah, there it is. So we actually have to still source some wires, and the screen actually we got is pretty nicked up, so we might actually have to buy another one and just sell the current one we have. Yeah, this iDrive is crap. It is just so old, and it's terrible. I thought maybe we could live with it, but I think we've kind of just decided that, yeah, I just don't think we're going to be able to deal with this. It's so outdated. It's so clunky. It just makes the car look so much older. It's almost like the taillights. You could do things to help spruce up the car a little bit. The CIC unit we got, unfortunately, doesn't have combat. I need to unplug this. This is driving me nuts. This gong. Yeah, it's just kind of annoying. It doesn't have combats. I mean, it's so annoying. You have to like put it in the trunk and send wires. It's just not worth it. Unfortunately, right now the aux cord, well, the aux plug, unfortunately went bad. But we do have this little thing here that you could actually stream your music from if you connect it with it. It's the Bovi, so you don't have to plug your phone, and you could just plug it in the aux cord and then connect your phone to the Bovi, and you could stream your music almost like an aftermarket. It works really well. And unfortunately, the aux plug, it's just gone bad. It's very common in these older cars. This does have 112,000 miles on it. The previous owner did daily it, but he took very good care of it. He did. I love the fact that this thing is a manual. Of course, it has the black interior, and it's extended. So it's the black extended in leather interior, so which is pretty rare. I mean, you know, in an E60 M5 of this era, which obviously got the V10, it wouldn't be as rare to see an extended leather car. You know, extended leather M5. I mean, this being an M3, it's actually pretty rare, right? I mean, it's a 3 Series. It's the degree lower. You know, it's not as common in an M3 because it's an M3. It's a 3 Series. It's not a 5 Series. It's a 3 Series, and obviously the 3 Series is the lower mark. So it's definitely not as common. But this does have M-Drive. Actually, looking at another E90 E9X that was an E92, and that did not have EDC, so it didn't have M-Drive, and that was just a huge negative. But it was a stripper. It was a 2010 E92 M3 single hump, but it did not have EDC. So again, we're going to be retrofitting the CIC iDrive in here. It's really not that complicated. We probably will be paying someone to do that though, because you know it's too complicated. But of course it has power folding mirrors and everything else. So this car again is in great condition. It's been very well taken care of. A few differences that maybe some LCI owners can point out. On LCI, the heated seat buttons are right here. On LCI, they're down here. I was used to that in the E90 330 we had. But, you know, we've been able to drive this car for a little bit, and, you know, I've been able to drive a little bit, and I just can't begin to tell you how much different this car drives than the 330, obviously. You know, it's, 414 horsepower compared to 255 horsepower, and it sounds amazing. Don't get me wrong, the M52 with the 330i variant sounds really good, but there's just something so special about the S65. It's like the last real one. You know, it's the last of the great. And you know, I talked about it in the M3 ranking video too, but it's just, you know, the F80 and the G, you know, they're so fat, you know, and there's so much power. And I feel like an M3, you have to rev it out, you know. All the other M3s, the E46, the E36, the E30, you all had to rev them out. You know, they didn't have tons of torque, and everything after the E9X had tons of torque and all this power, and it got fat. You know, it's just not as enjoyable to me. I enjoy a car you have to rev it out, I'll be honest. So yeah, this car is just absolutely incredible. It does have premium sound as well. So that's how you can tell if it's like you see like gold in there, you could actually see the speaker. It means it has premium sound. So this car is just incredible. This car is just incredible. So I absolutely love it. And of course, unfortunately, we're going to have to redo the steering wheel though, because the steering wheel is just really, really faded, and the Alcantara is all worn out. But I love the steering wheel. My dad's Lamech, he actually has the same steering wheel. So it's nice we have an E92 and E90 M3 in the family now. Of course, my dad's Lamech is the last model year 2013, and then this is the 2008. So this is the first model year. So we have both an E92 Lime Rock and an E90 M3 in the family. I'll just start it up for you. So again, you don't have to stick the key in the slot. I mean, if you want to, you can, but don't have to put the key in the slot as comfort access. So it's just ran not that long ago, so it probably won't be too loud, but we'll start it up. So this car, it never gets old to start that up, man. It never gets old. So you can see the iDrive is back on. It's nice to have air in here. Even having to crack open the door though, because it just was just so warm in here. My goodness gracious. Of course, I got the M mode. We already got the M mode set. You can see power's on. I mean, I just can't believe how much that dramatically increases the throttle response in EDC 1. I personally feel as if EDC 2 is overly harsh, and I feel like when you hit, like every little bump you hit, it just beats you up so much. So I actually prefer EDC 1. EDC 2 is too much. So it does have the M3 floor mats that are actually in pretty good condition. Not gonna lie. So as you can see right there, 112,641 miles on the odometer. So I love this. You can't really see it right now because it's not nighttime, but at night when the gauges are white and they light up white, it's so awesome. I love this car. So it's just the last true grade. This is just the last true grade. So there's a lot of minor details. Of course, all the imperfections outside. There's even some wear right here where some of the black interior is kind of faded. We'll have that we're gonna have to have that re-dyed a little bit, but just minor changes. This car is in great condition. It is in great condition, and it's really going to be in good hands in our auto shop. I'll shut it down now. As you can see, the oil temp is still up there a little bit. We took it out this afternoon. So let me just shut her down here. So I'm just in awe every single time I step inside this car, and anytime I get to drive it. So I'm so excited to have this on the channel. More updates to follow. Back in gear there. I'm so glad it's a manual. We actually were looking at a few DCTs, and I love the DCT, but this is where my heart is. I love the manual. I love the third pedal, and it just we actually stumbled across a great deal for a DCT, and we kind of just passed up on it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a 2010 E90 M3 DCT with fox red interior, and I need that third pedal. I need that engagement. I need that engagement. So obviously we were able to steal one, and that's a different story. And the DCT is a lot of fun, but I mean, at the end of the day, it hasn't. If a car is an automatic mode, it's an automatic. Obviously, the DCT is an automated manual transmission, but I mean, come on. I mean, it's not as engaging. So, guys, that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Luke, and I'll talk to you later. I'll see you guys.